Let's talk about sticky sessions, also called session affinity, for your Elastic Load Balancer. So it's possible to implement what's called stickiness or sticky sessions. And the idea is that the client doing two requests to the load balancer will have the same instance in the backend to respond to the request. So the idea is that, for example, you have an ALB with two EC2 instances and you have three clients. If the client one makes a request and it goes to the first EC2 instance, that means that when it does a second request to the load balancer, it will go to the same instance, which is a different behavior where usually the application balancer will do a spread of all the requests across all the EC2 instances. Now for client 2, if it goes to the ALB and talks to the second instance, then all the requests will go there, and same for client 3, okay? So this is a behavior that can be enabled for the classic load balancer and the application load balancer. And how it works? Well, there is a cookie that is sent as part of the request from the clients to the load balancer, and it has stickiness and it has an expiration date. That means that when the cookie expires, then the client may be redirected to another EC2 instance. The use case for this is to make sure that the user is connected to the same backend instance in order not to lose his session data, which can take some important information, such as the login of the user, for example. But if you enable stickiness, it may bring imbalance to the load over the backend EC2 instances in case some instances have a very, very sticky user. Okay, now to go a little bit deeper, how about the cookie itself? Well, there are two types of cookie that you can have for sticky sessions. The first one is application-based cookie, and the second one is duration-based cookie. So for application-based cookies, well, it's a custom cookie that is generated by the target, so by your application itself, and you can include any custom attributes you want by or required by your application. The cookie name must be specified individually for each target group, okay? And you must not use the following names. So AWS ALB, AWS ALB app, or AWS ALB TG, because they are already reserved for use by the ELB itself. Or it could be an application cookie, and this time will be generated by the load balancer itself, and the cookie name used by the ALB will be AWS ALB app, okay? Now, the second type of cookies is duration-based cookie, and it's a cookie generated by the load balancer, and the name is AWS ALB for the ALB and AWS ELB for the CLB, okay? And the idea is this one will have an expiry based on a specific duration, and the duration is generated by the load balancer itself, okay? Whereas before, well, there is an application-based cookie, so the duration can be specified by the application itself. So that's how it works, okay? You don't need to remember exactly the name of the cookies or the fact that you have custom and application, but you remember there's application-based cookies and duration-based cookies, and they have a specific name, and this will be coming into account when we talk about CloudFront. Okay, so if I look at my load balancer right now, and I open it in a new tab, as you can see, it goes between my three instances in my load balancer, so that's perfect. But now I'm going to enable sticky sessions. So to do so, I'm going to go at the target group level, open my target group, and then action, and I can edit the attributes of my target group. And in the bottom, I have stickiness or sticky sessions. And as we can see, we have two types of stickiness available to us. Okay, we have the load balancer generated cookie, which is a duration type of stickiness. So I can say between 1 second and 7 days, or I can have an application based cookie between 1 second to 7 days again. But this time I need to specify the cookie name that is sent to by the app to the load balancer. So it could be my custom app cookie. And then this is what the load balancer would be using to perform the stickiness, okay? So that's it for stickiness. As you can see, if we just have a load balancer generated cookie and we set the stickiness duration to be equal to, say, 1 day, and I will save this change. So now let's have a look. So I'm going to go and open the debugger as well so we can have a look at the network and see what happens. So if we have a look at the network and then I refresh this page, as we can see, I refresh it multiple times, okay? You get access to the same instance. So 7176 is the one that's coming back. And now what's going to happen is that when you look at the get request made to the load balancer, and I'm very, very sorry for the font size here. I don't think I can really increase it. But if you go to cookies, as you can see here, there is a response cookie, okay, that is saying that your cookie expires tomorrow. Here is the path, and here is the value of the cookie. And then in the request cookie, when the browser makes a request to the load balancer, it sends again, the cookie it has right here. And so because of the cookie being passed and sent, this is how stickiness works. Okay, so just a bit of a deeper dive into how stickiness works. But that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it. And by the way, to access the web developer tools, you click on web developer and then web developer tools, and I just use a shortcut for that. And it's the same on Chrome and Firefox. And then you go into network and you get access to your information around your request. Okay. And finally, just go back to your target group and then you edit the attributes itself and you can disable stickiness to come back to a normal behavior, which should be good to go. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it and I will see you in the next lecture.